that it was an entity unto itself. You know, that...
Well, some of our best people are working on this. I don't know how far they'll get. It's a great question, isn't it?
I mean, even separate from the brain. I mean, the neurology of the brain is not the mind. I mean, as some argue. The brain.
Well, we talked about this the other day. You know, is the brain the repository of consciousness, or is it like a TV antenna? Seeking consciousness in the brain may be like seeking little men in the radio. And the problem of memory. Where was it? We had that whole discussion about memory, and then in the New York Times there was a whole article about molecular theories of memory and what a big bust it was and how they hadn't really gotten anywhere. Oh, I know what it was about. It was about the silent areas of the genome. Remember how we talked about how only 5% of the DNA transcripts protein and the other 95% is what's called trash DNA, except that it appears to be very necessary and no one knows why, and then how this was a possible storage site for memory. But I don't know. I mean, it may require technologies we can't even imagine to correctly model memory. They're now talking about what are called terabyte storage modules, which would be crystals basically read by the intersection of very, very fine laser beams, that when they could intersect at any of a very large number of points in this terabyte cube, and each of these possible points is a 0 or a 1. And so you have a very, very dense storage potential. But, you know, we have a way to go. There are 9 billion genes approximately in most higher mammals, and you can get that easily on the head of a pin. Easily on the head of a pin. So nature as model for nanotechnological storage of information, we still have a way to go with all of that. Well, we can talk about this or not talk about it. Anybody have anything they want to take off from on this? It's a big subject. It's nebulous. The paradigm changes everything, you see. And the paradigms now come out of science. How we view nature determines how we view ourselves, how we plan our societies, and how we relate to the past.
What you said about Krios, when it seems like habit Krios, that kind of falling into this rut and just continuing to channel along through it is the process that we've been basically going through. And as new ideas are spawned, new things, little pieces of novelty erupt along the path, we kind of find new ways to jump out of our tracks and join in with other tracks and perhaps create new habit patterns for others to form on. And I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated by the feeling of it, the energy I got from what you were saying, and the sense that it's really just a matter of continually zinging out new ideas that's going to change us or transition us, rather what like Sheldrake's talking about. Once you've gone the maze, once you run the maze, everybody else is going to run the maze that much better. So each idea that you spawn, each idea that somebody spawns, is actually helping to make it so that it's going to continue to happen.
Yeah, well, we've talked here, not this year, but last year, about memes. You know what memes are? Memes are the smallest units of a concept. And they're like genes. The word is deliberately constructed to rhyme with gene. And so when I say every woman should consider having only one child, that's a meme. And that meme goes out into society where it competes with the family values meme, the gay lifestyle meme, the celibacy meme. They all compete like animals in an environment of information. And then some win and some lose. You know, like the meme of the 18-child family is not doing too well these days. Yet in 1800, the average American woman gave birth 13 times in her life. The average American. So memes come and go, and they compete, sometimes fairly with each other, sometimes not. I mean, a bad meme can gain ascendancy if you artificially enhance it by spending money. You hire a publicist, and then they say a bad idea is a good idea, and then the bad idea gains a certain coherency. So, yes, and under the influence of technological innovation and psychedelic drugs and cultural pluralism and all these things, more and more memes are being generated and released. Forms of, like, shamanism is a meme, the I Ching is a meme, yoga is a meme, Chinese herbal medicine is another meme, and these things just furiously compete. And the ones with the most effective memes, whatever that means, always this mystery, the survival of the fittest, and then whoever survives you call the fittest. But it's forcing mutation of these very rigid, linear, post-Renaissance structures that have been put in place in Europe and derivative civilizations without ever being subjected to serious competition from other times and places. So that's part of what's driving us forward into the future. And the other thing is simply the availability of information. That this is the age when all secrets were told, or they are being told. I mean, if you're a standard user of the Internet, you actually know more about what's going on in the world than probably the director of the Central Intelligence Agency 15 years ago. 15 years ago, that guy, he had the secret reports, the agents in the field, what do they call them, the national projections on every country and so forth. Well, now you have all that, and the democratization of information is a very interesting phenomenon. And it tends, I think, to replace freedom and law with novelty and habit. One of the great things about the Internet is how difficult it is to regulate it, how it's almost beyond anticipation. It's as big as the human imagination.
So we've created a technology, unlike electricity, which we can control, that perhaps we cannot potentially control. The Internet.
Well, I don't think we've ever controlled a technology. This is what McLuhan is all about.
We did and sold it, is what I mean. Or educated us to, be a part of that.
We recognized it, that we control.
Well, but every technology carries utterly unpredictable consequences. I mean, nobody dreamed, that the automobile would create a sexual revolution because it's a rolling bedroom. Nobody dreamed that the automobile would destroy the extended family, that people would move hundreds and hundreds of miles from... the automobile created the suburb. And, McLuhan on print, he says that the linear uniform qualities of print created the very possibility of science, of the idea of ordered nature. Before the printed book, nobody demanded that nature be ordered. I mean, it was nice to be able to predict